It's a big stage for a big race. The Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series tackles the biggest track in NASCAR for the 10th round of the season. Coming off a short track where tempers flared, we're heading to a track where cooperation and friendship are key to even having a shot of winning. From a place where you make your own destiny to a place where luck is a needle in a haystack, we go racing at Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined this evening by Connor Horn as we approach a 76-lap event at the 2.66-mile oval in Talladega, Alabama. The biggest track in NASCAR, Connor, and tonight a big stage. But we've got 34 drivers in this one. That's a whole lot of guys going for a really small trophy.
Yeah, one of the biggest tracks in NASCAR, and without a doubt, in my opinion, one of the scariest tracks in NASCAR for sure. These drivers are going to be on edge every single lap. There was a bunch of huge wrecks in the Daytona season opener. It led to Chad Simpson getting his one and only win of the season so far. He was one of the few to get through all the chaos. We'll see if he can double down tonight.
Well, speaking of Chad Simpson, I think several times throughout the season I've said that Chad Simpson led one lap at Daytona. He actually led 16, so I'm going to fact check, correct myself before I get that wrong a little bit later tonight. But maybe he's the guy to watch tonight. Was the smartest guy to carve through the field there at the end. Qualifying is underway, but we always talk about qualifying at Talladega not really mattering all that much, Connor. Why does it not matter? But why might it matter just a little bit more tonight? Because this race is maybe a bit shorter?
It might matter a bit more, but at the same time, with how the halfway points work, it's going to be about, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I think about lap 38 is going to be halfway tonight, so you can lay at the back for as long as you really want. You just have to be at the front when it matters most for those halfway points and obviously to get that checkered flag. So I still don't expect a lot of people to qualify. I think it's just likely that a lot of people are going to be running at the back. Most of the front runners in the championship especially are probably going to be laying at the back for most of the race. But guys who don't race all the time, like Jeremy Miller, let's see, other drivers who don't run all the time. Obviously, Finian, he's probably going to be running at the front if I had to guess.
Yeah, we've got a handful of new drivers in the field here as well. Tom Bourne in the number 84. That's a name I do not recognize. Bronson Stafford is back this week in the number 61 as he comes across the line to start a qualifying lap. Again, we've got a really full field today, and what we know about full fields, Connor, is that the racing typically with a fuller field can sometimes be quite clean, but the longer you put off that big wreck, the bigger it's going to be towards the end of the race. So as a driver, as a competitor, do you prefer having a handful of little wrecks you can dodge, or do you like having that big field with those big drafts up until the last lap, and do you like carving your way through that big mess there with 2 or 3 laps to go?
I personally love getting through the big one. It's always so satisfying when you finally do. It's annoying when you don't, but when you see all those drivers get wrecked in front of you, you just get on the brakes to avoid it with no damage. It's obviously perfect because you have the clean car and you probably only have like 4 other cars who are clean with you. That was the big difference at Daytona. The huge wreck ended a lot of people's days who were at the front for most of that race. So I kind of expect, I'm going to go on a limb. I think I expect a big one earlier this time, but we'll just have to wait and see.
There's Vinny Dacuna in the number 94, a late entry to this series this year. Just out here for fun. It kind of ran towards the back at North Wilkesboro, missed the grid, but comes across the line now to run a qualifying effort. We'll see how he lands. Bourne, it looks like he has made some fuel starts. 39th at Daytona, 34th at Iowa, so he'll try to improve on that tonight. Currently 20th in qualifying. Dacuna goes 17th on his first lap around. Brian Chambliss in the 25 car, and the Outsider Racing sponsored Chevrolet Camaro comes across the line. We'll see where he puts himself. That's a 54.0, puts him P3 on the board there, Connor, so good lap for the number 25.
Yeah, really good job for him. All the drivers in the top 3 separated by 3/1000ths of a second. Those 3, the only ones under the 54.1 bracket. 3 really fast drivers up there right now.
Well, the driver sitting on provisional pole right now is Chad Simpson, and I think this sort of dispels the myth, and I think there's a lot of people that will dispel this now, that plate racing doesn't take any talent, Connor. But I think that's not true. I think it requires quite a bit of talent and quite a bit of foresight, and you're always thinking maybe a corner or 2 ahead of your competitors.
It was definitely one of the more lucky tracks, but there's still a lot of skill to go on it. That's why you see in real life how so many drivers won so many races at these super speedways, because they just understood how to draft work. They understood exactly what move to make. Like you were saying, they always thought a step ahead, and they had a big advantage because of that trait that they had. So there's still so much variability, but there's also so much skill that goes into one of these big track races.
Matt Halaba running the IndyCar NASCAR vehicle this afternoon, so a little bit of a contradictory livery, but I kind of like it as he comes across the line here. We'll see where he runs.
He's running the apron. I don't think we've seen anyone else do that, so he's going to run the apron in the trioval. You do that at Daytona, usually not Talladega. We'll see if that works out for him.
54.134 puts him 12th, so it worked okay, and he'll put himself in the 12th position. A handful of drivers, about a 12, did not make qualifying efforts, and they will start towards the tail of the field. Live timing and scoring, as always, is available at simtvbroadcasting.com/timing. Updates every 2 seconds, and it's live, so you can follow along with your favorites. All right, we'll head down to the grid here in just a moment. One last look at our weather information for this one. A hot one on the racetrack today, 97-degree track temp, 78 air temp, humidity just around 55%. And let's run down and do the starting lineup here row by row. And on the front row tonight, as we mentioned before, it's going to be Chad Simpson in the 42 and Riley Thompson in the 56.
Yep, Chad Simpson, a good way to start his super speedway defense, trying to go back-to-back. Third and fourth, Brian Chambliss, Jason Brophy on that second row with Michael Stroll and Michael Skinner on the third row. Pair of Michaels there, what do you know?
Fifth and sixth for the 8 and 27. Moving on back to row number 4. That's going to be 7th and 8th. Travis McQuistion in the number 93. And it'll be Nick Delicato in the 74. He's won a couple races, or at least a race earlier in the season. He rolls off 8th tonight.
He's going to be one of the drivers to watch for sure. Also, RJ Root, Thomas Bresci rounding out the top 10, 9th and 10th. Finian DeCuna, 11th and 12th. Matt Hollabuzz in that 12th position. Jeremy Miller and Don Runkle Jr., 13th to 14th. Jeremy, obviously, he wants to call me a plate goat, so there's his shout out for that. He's always one of the drivers to watch out to win these races, so we'll see him at the front most of the night. Also, Bronson Stafford, Zach Buchanan, 15th and 16th.
Yeah, Buchanan making a comeback in the series after missing a couple rounds, so curious to see how he will run with his Project 2 teammate, Mitch Welker, who rolls off 17th, and points leader Shane Terrian lost some points last week. The difference is 16 coming into tonight.
Yeah, he had a rough North Wilkesboro for the most part, but he was able to recover. Tom Borden, Calvin Filarski rounding out the top 20. Christian Gritzko, Tyler Dolger on a string of bad luck so far. We'll see if he can turn it around today, starting 22nd.
In 23rd, Christopher Matthews and Casey Lakatos, 23rd and 24th. Lakatos running a special Grid Life Midwest livery. The 50 car is running a livery based on the number 14 of Emil Tab, who runs in Grid Life Touring Cup in his K-Series powered Miata. He'll be running at Grid Life Midwest this weekend. I will be there this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Check out Grid Life's YouTube channel to watch live wheel-to-wheel racing in the evening in the fall. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous, so make sure you check out Grid Life Live this weekend on YouTube or Facebook. I will also be at Indianapolis on Sunday for the Indianapolis 8-hour for GT World Challenge America. I will be calling a race with some TC America drivers. Might even see a special Roger Penske appearance on that stream. If you tune in on Sunday, make sure you check it out on CrowdStrike Racing's YouTube channel. We'll see if that happens, but looking forward to this one tonight, Connor. 76 laps. It's not a very long race, about an hour and 8 minutes if it goes green from start to finish. You got a favorite here early, or are you waiting to see who's going to climb to the front quickly?
Well, I think we have to wait to see who gets through the big one, but if I had to make a prediction right now, it's the 30 of Jeremy Miller. He's always so good at these plate races. He knows how to get to the front. He knows how to stay up front, so I would not be surprised at all to see him in victory lane today.
All right, so Jeremy Miller is your pick. I'm going to have to go out, and I'm going to try to pick, how about Riley Thompson in the 56? I remember seeing him at the front of a couple of these plate races, and he's just lingering right now in this points championship. He finds himself in 10th, about, let's see, a handful of points, about 121 back from the points lead, but I think he's been too quiet. I think he'll be going for the victory here tonight. Climbing into turns 3 and 4, 33 degrees of banking at this racetrack, the highest that we deal with in NASCAR, some of the widest straightaways as well, but it's amazing how narrow this place can feel when you get 2 and 3 wide. Are we going to see the field get 3 wide early, or do you think we're going to run double file and single out for a little while?
I think it's going to be double file, for the first about 20 laps or so. I think when drivers start getting close to the halfway point, we're going to see people try to race for those halfway points. I think we might have a pit stop right before we get the halfway on lap 30, so we'll have to wait and see. We might see a lot of jockeying for track position before they make those stops.
All right, so up front, the Virtual Racing School Toyota Supra alongside the Simsa Esports number 56. The ORL 25, the Brophy sponsored number 20, and then it's a couple other cars, a couple Camaros lined up behind him as they head towards the start-finish line. 76 laps at the biggest stage in racing, Talladega Super Speedway. Who's going to take home the trophy tonight? The 10th round of the 2020 Season B Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series is about to go racing. 76 laps, about an hour and 10 minutes of action right here on Sim TV. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn, and let's turn them loose. 36 stock cars lined up on the grid as we come to the green flag, and we're racing from Talladega. The Fuel Mission 22 Series is green. So far, so good. The 56 of Riley Thompson pulls down to the inside, right in front of the 42 of Chad Simpson. And the 20 car of Jason Brophy leads the outside line, as it looks like up the lane a little bit goes Matt Hollaba, trying to take a third lane up there, maybe just drop to the back.
He's probably going to the back. A big start for that outside line. Chad Simpson had no help from anyone on the inside, allowing Thompson to get the early lead here. He's likely going to lead the first lap.
The 30 of Jeremy Miller was your pick. And following the 94, oh boy.
I was about to say, he wanted me to show Finian's back bumper, and that's why.
I guess so. Off into turn 1. Lap 1 complete. A minute around as you see the 91 of Christian Gritzko drop below the 76 of Mitch Welker, and the 40 of Zach Buchanan. Again, teammates returning to the series. Riley Thompson leads the way down the back straightaway.
Thompson looking good right now. Brophy was at the front at Daytona for a lot, got caught up in one of those late race wrecks, and Michael Skinner was off the pace for most of that race because of damage, but we're seeing him up front for the first time at a plate race. We'll see if he can push correctly.
Looks like the 24, Thomas Bressi, is going to drop to the tailpipes of that lead pack. Again, he won at Charlotte a few weeks ago. Runner-up last week at North Wilkesboro to his teammate, Tyler Hensley, who got his first victory in the series. And Hensley, nowhere to be found yet tonight. I'm looking down the order to try to find where he is. Not here, so that's unfortunate. Jason Brophy leads that lap with Michael Skinner pushing him big into turn 1, and the 20 will drop down to the bottom.
Well, let's look in the back of this front pack. Look at Miller already making big moves, going 3 wide through the middle, splitting, putting RJ Root on that outside line. Jeremy Miller already making big moves to get to the front of this one pack.
Now the 76 is going to go for the middle and drag race with the number 40. What the heck is on that 40 car tonight? That's
interesting.
What is going on with the meme schemes tonight? I kind of dig it. It's sort of funny, but it's like this place is buried on an ancient Native American burial ground. You never know.
Was that the theme? I missed that memo. That's
Maybe.
for sure.
I don't know. They don't tell me anything. As we come out of turn 4, Brophy leads the way. Going to climb up in front of the 27 and all the way to the top line. Looks like he's going to drop out, so just let his lap, but he's going to drop back now and get out of trouble.
It's going to be big points for Michael Skinner. It might be his first lap lead of a whole season. Not quite sure, but he's going to power to the race lead. Sponsored by his own Snapchat, I believe. There's a Delicado right behind him. Skinner thought about dropping down. Now he finally does. Nope, gets back up to the middle. Now when Delicado goes bottom, way close there. Miller's going to be the one to push him on the outside.
Maybe a bit of miscommunication. The 30 car is going to jump up to the outside with help from Zach Buchanan. We're 3 wide for the race lead on the back straightaway here at Talladega, side by side, and it's just 2 in the sucker hole in the middle.
A bit early for racing like this, but we're indeed 3 wide for the lead. Thompson and Delicado and Miller away on the top line. Help from Buchanan. That middle line kind of dying. Only 2 cars in it, but that top lane has no momentum. The 74 and 27 pull ahead.
Oh, the 76 is going to drop out. That's going to leave his teammate stranded up high, and they're going to try to squeeze up the middle. Now it's Buchanan all by himself with RJ Root, the 29, but in the middle it's the 74 of Nick and Delicado who's going to lead this lap unless Thompson can come back strong on the bottom, and it looks like he will as they come to the line. No, Nick and Delicado will lead that lap.
That was been intense for about a couple corners there. It was really close to being a wreck, especially in turn 1 when the 27 almost dropped Delicado and went down low. So 74 right to the front, but the 27 is going to get a big push from the Miller.
The exit of turn 2, riding on board with Finian Dakuna in the number 94 Supra and chasing the 93 of Travis McQuistion. You can see now we're double filed and grouped up together. I think double file is the safest way to run here. I think single file you can get too much checkup. I like this double file maneuvering here at Talladega. Plenty of space in comparison to Daytona. I don't think that'll be too much of an issue.
Yeah, these drivers got to be really careful about the checkup. It really doesn't matter how many cars are in a line. You're going to see checking up on that bottom lane. It's really at the back of the pack where you'll see the wreck sort of form because of that checking up. So we'll have to be careful to see if we see any of that forming.
And the rest of the field is pretty orderly right now. At the tail end of the field, looks like we've got Brent Jones, Matt Rodriguez, Rich Jett, Tom Board, Shane Terry, and all hanging out back there. John Wilco has lost the draft in the 62. He is now 20 seconds behind the lead pack, and he will be in danger of losing a lap if he continues to be stuck back there. But Michael Skinner leads the way now in the middle down the backstretch.
Matt Hollaba actually didn't drop all the way to the back. He's still looking way 3 wide on the top, but obviously no help, so he's going to stay in there. Really, the majority of the field is single file. There's a bit of a second pack there, but they're not far enough to be called their own pack. A lot of drivers just laying low here early.
Oh, bit of a checkup by the 27, and Jeremy Miller almost got into the back of him as they come out of turn number 4. They'll complete lap number 6. And so far, so good. I haven't seen anything that's really terrified me yet. Everyone's behaving nicely. The 27's making me a bit nervous, though, at the front.
Yeah, that little scrap in turn 2 of Delicado was the biggest scary part of the race when they went 3 for the lead. They were able to sort that out, so I have no doubt that they'll be able to sort that out later in the race as well. But I'm trying to wonder, see if that 30 is getting a bit too hot to push the 27. Skinner can't clear down to the bottom yet.
So Delicato leads over the 56 of Riley Thompson, nose to tail, then the Daytona winner, Chad Simpson, in third in line. Look up the outside. Here comes, I think that's 13, and Nate Stewart making a return to the series. And he'll jump all the way to the outside with help from Holaba. And the 13 started in 25th, so he is going forward. You see the Project 2 cars jump up to the outside lane.
Yeah, they're going to try to make something going. 5 cars now strong on that top lane, leaving the 27 and 30 sort of on their own. We'll see if Miller goes to the top, maybe to cool his engine off, get a run for that race lead. I don't know if he's going to be able to block that run, but saying that, top lane not getting too much of a run right now.
No, they haven't really been able to carry the speed I would have thought. This middle line has been a lot better than I thought it would be. Look at the 91. That's Christian Gritzko going to jump up to the outside right in front of the 76 and 40. And they're going to run 1, 2, 3 Supras up top. And we'll see if they can gather some momentum. But there's Will Roberts in the middle following Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, Will Roberts going to go with that. That outside line, it just doesn't seem like they have more cars, but they just don't have the same momentum as that middle line can get. Kind of surprised by that, but they do get a good run into the turns, but they can't carry it through the turns. But still working out so far. They're almost even with Will Roberts as Michael Skinner finally cleared to the bottom for the race lead.
So Skinner leads on the bottom. Now the middle is just the 30 and 17. No help there. But the outside, the Supras can't seem to get the push that they need. They touch. And the 30 cars sideways. And no, the big crash out of turn 4. And it's going to be a massive wreck as they come across the line. Cars still scattering in the dirt as they come to the start-finish line. Caution.
Miller wasn't happy with that over the radio. Brian Chambliss in the grass, Thomas Bresci, Finian DeCuna might have gone through the grass to avoid it, but way aggressive for lap 8 of the race.
There's the 94. It doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage, so he should be able to continue. Just wondering who did get damaged. 17 certainly did. Brian Chambliss has escaped. Michael Stroll has some rear-end damage. Jeremy Miller, that car is done.
Yeah, it's destroyed. One of the favorites to win all of these, but once again, just like Daytona, caught up in a crash. This time, I expected it to be an early big one, but lap 8, I didn't expect racing like that.
Yeah, here's a look, and the 74 just comes up. Yeah, that's it. That was a really badly timed block, and that was certainly on the 74. Comes back across the racetrack, tags the 17, and look at everybody scattering.
Michael Stroll hit the wall avoiding it. Not sure who got at him. He hit the inside wall big. Will Roberts hit the 30. I don't know if Finian actually hit Brian Chambliss. Those are the two who went through the grass.
I don't think they had contact, but the 74 there just comes right. And again, you're right.
Yeah.
Lap 8 in this race, Connor, that's just that was kind of a silly move there. And you see the 40 just tags the 8 car, and that'll be the end of their day probably as well.
The 40 might be fine. Michael Stroll, a huge hit on the inside wall with Miller. I want to see a front bumper from the 30, because when the 74 went up to the middle, he was initially clear, but he had that second swerve up to make sure the 30 stayed behind him. That was just a bit too early to do that. And the 30 was already there at his corner by then.
Well, we're out on board here with Finian DeCuna in the 94 first, and we'll get his perspective. I think they did touch just a little bit. Here's a look.
Right here. He sees the 40 coming down, pretty much panics, just has to jam on the brakes. Here comes Chambliss. Oh,
just a touch.
Barely tapped them.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any damage on that 94 car.
Even the damage of a 25 won't be severe, so those two will be able to continue just fine, I think.
We're right on board with the 30 of Jeremy Miller, and we'll see what really happened here.
You see Skinner's getting clear. He's already clear. And Delicato's getting the run. He's already thinking about getting up in front of Miller. He's clear here. He's clear here, still clear. He's going to make that first move, and he doesn't get all the way up, and then he tries again, and it's already too late. He wasn't confident on his move. No, he wasn't confident, and at lap 8 of the race, if you're not confident, I don't think you just don't make that move. No.
And you have to imagine the spotter had to be calling outside here. He was probably just hoping that he could squeeze up in there, but Miller is not really under, I mean, is there any responsibility on Miller to back out of that at all, or do you think that's entirely on the 74?
I can't really say for sure, because I don't know if Miller right there expected him to go up again. The 74 already made that swerve, and it looked like Delicato was going back down to the bottom because he was so unsure about that move. And that second swerve, it was already too late for Miller to lift. The contact was already made when the 74 tried to make the move again. Ooh,
well, we got to get on board with Casey Laconis in the number 50. I think he did a great job kind of spotting this and getting his way through it.
See this here, just sees cars all over the place, just tries to go in the pit road for the most part. Watches the 94 and 25 hit each other. He's just going to go a bit of joyriding here. It's Riley Thompson.
Yeah, how did Riley Thompson get turned around? Let's see how he found his way.
Didn't see that first.
There's Riley Thompson. He was running. Oh, he might have been the car that got just tagged here. Oh, he just spun out from
just avoiding it.
And actually, you know what he did is he spun the car out to the left so that he didn't come back up on the pavement on the racetrack.
That's really smart.
That was super smart. So good on Riley Thompson. That could have been a lot worse.
Hopefully he didn't get a black flag for going through the pace car there.
I think he probably would get that cleared, I imagine.
Miller's check got disabled, not surprising, I suppose. They're not happy with Delicato at all. Like we said, lap 8, you got to be sure about the moves when you do that.
Sure, I think there might be a little bit of responsibility on Miller to maybe have spotted that, but I think once he figured that the 74 wasn't going to make that move, I think he just throttled up and said, we're going to go for it. Just because the 74, once he had made that half move, I think Miller thought that was going to be all that he was going to do. And then that hesitation and then that second move was really what took everybody out. So definitely on the 74 there. But I can see how there was a little bit of responsibility on both cars there to facilitate a clean interaction. But 8 laps in, too early for so many cars to have damage.
Yeah, for sure. And the one of the main people who really got away with that scot-free, the 27 there, Michael Skinner, going to lead some more laps under yellow here. Also, the winner from Daytona, Chad Simpson, another wreck, he survives. And
I have to feel for Zach Buchanan in the 40 making his first return. He doesn't have a lot of damage, I don't think, but actually sort of does on the left side. But he was making his return with the hopes of having some better luck, and he's just not finding anything.
Yeah, we don't really know how much damage seconds-wise or even minutes-wise it has. iRacing can be kind of finicky about that, but the left front not looking too good. Hopefully he can stay up with the pack, but I think we're going to have a much smaller pack this time.
I would say that's very likely. So we'll run down your order. It's Michael Skinner, Simpson, Gritsko, McQuistion, Welker, Filarski, Dahlger, Adams, Hurley, and Fambro your top 10 as we get the 1 to green. Lights are out in the pace car. So is that serve as a checkup for everybody and say, hey, let's calm down a little bit, or do you think that's just going to make things spicier as we kind of near our 1/4 mark?
If I had to guess, I'm going to assume that people are going to calm down a little bit, but I think we're still going to see some aggressive racing. But I think people are going to be in check for the most part this run. I'm trying to see, looking back on that, another thing to note, I don't know what Indelicato could have done at that point, because the 27 didn't really stay to a double to the yellow line there. If he stays down there, maybe he turns to 27. And Indelicato wasn't in the best spot either. Yeah,
I think it was just one of those things that some decisions have gone awry at a couple different points. Again, I don't think it's totally on the 74 by any stretch. I just think there's probably the majority of it on him. But again, people make mistakes. It's Talladega, that's what happens. Unfortunately, just so early in the race that guys like Nate Stewart just victims of that. So was Jeremy Miller. So Will Roberts as well. Michael Stroll also involved. So we went from 36 down to 32. Tom Bourne is the last driver on the racetrack in that 84 car. Got the Fire News 84. Yeah, slick-looking livery. Right in front of him, Bronson Stafford, in what I think is probably one of the prettiest race cars out there.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice one. Yeah, the 4 cars are off track. Will Roberts is actually getting out of pit road right now. Jeremy Miller's done, Nate Stewart, and Michael Stroll. Michael Stroll's still out there, so I think about 32 cars on the lead lap, and got Michael Stroll and Will Roberts who are a lap down. But Jeremy Miller and Nate Stewart definitely done for the night.
Coming back to the green flag, it'll be lap number 12 of 76. In command, the number 27. That is Michael Skinner. Then the 42 is Simpson, Gritsko, and McQuistion. And Filarski in that beautiful number 2 on the outside of that 3rd row with Welker on the inside. Here we come. Green flag back in the air from Talladega.
And much different restart this time from the initial start. How spread out these top drivers are.
Certainly off into turn number 1. And again, you mentioned how spread out it is. I think this is going to create a really bad accordion effect, though. When everyone starts building those runs up here in just a moment, it's going to get pretty wild by the time we come around here in another lap or so.
Skinner's going to lead out of turn 2. We'll see who leads into turn 3 to 93. A huge run to the 91 of Gritsko, but no one's going to jump out of line just yet other than Chad Simpson with the top. Got a bit squirrely, the 91 did. He's got nowhere to go. Yeah,
he got shoved by, I think it was the 93 that got into the back of him, and then he pushed the 27, and they all were a bit sideways off into the corner. Look at Mitch Welker now pairing up with the 42. That's kind of chaos back here, and like I said, as soon as these runs start building, I'm nervous for what's going to happen because everyone's going to be coming with a head of steam and not want to back out. A couple teammates there, Casey Shue and the 24, Thomas Bressi lined up.
Also got guys up at the front that you didn't see earlier in the race. Guys like Tyler Dahlger, Evan Adams, Colin Fambro's up there as well. And Matt Hollowell got some great rear damage out of that in that IndyCar machine. He's still up there. So we're going to see probably some newcomers at the front now that a lot of the drivers who were running at the front got taken out in that.
Vinny Ndakuna teaming up with his teammate in the number 50 of Casey Licata is going to push themselves forward here. And maybe pair up with the 56 of Riley Thompson. Ndakuna's going to go middle back here, getting a little bit chaotic as they search for a place to go amongst all the different varying speeds here after the restart.
Yeah, that front pack, meanwhile, has gotten pretty packed up already. The 27 still trying to lead that bottom lane, but Gritsko's gone up to the top lane to block Chad Simpson's momentum.
Evan Adams goes way high. Holloway tries to follow him up there, but can't quite stay attached. Do you see the damage to the rear of the 0-2? We always talk about front and rear damage at plate tracks is awful bad. You see the 30 car trying to rejoin the racetrack here. The damage to the front and rear is really bad because you can't push very well, and obviously, pushing's a big deal here at Talladega, so I'd be cautious pushing the guy if his rear bumper's all out of skew.
Yeah, it's just hard to, even with clean rear bumpers, it's so hard to push. These Xfinity cars are especially squirrely, that's why it makes it all the reason to be careful blocking. Actually, the 91, that last time on the backstretch got a run on Michael Skinner, and Skinner blocked him up to the wall a little bit. That's why the 91 went to the top. So you got to be careful blocking, especially with how squirrely you pick.
93 going to go middle 3 wide, push the 27 low. And does Gritzko know they're 3 wide? They're going to try 4 off into turn 3, but the 42 backs out, thinks better of it. Now they single back out to just 2. That was a little bit wild. And again, these guys, I don't think they learned their lesson there on lap number 8.
I think that was planned. I don't think they wanted Skinner leading after the blocking he was doing for the lead. So I think the 91 gave the middle groove up and told the 93 to go to middle, dump that 27. That's what happened, but Skinner's going to be the pusher now still.
And a big push through the tri-oval. That, to me, is the sketchiest part of this whole racetrack. I don't even think the corners are all that bad. I think the tri-oval is what's the most confusing to me because it actually goes from 3 lanes to 4, and that can sort of be confusing if you're trying to follow a line. It sort of disappears and blends into another lane. So you have to be real cautious where you're pointing the race car as you come up through the tri-oval.
And you especially got to be careful pushing over if you're on the very inside of a tri-oval because there's bumps down there that can catch you out. We've seen in real life. I think it was Alex Bowman in 2016 who wrecked over those bumps. So if you're bump drafting right when you go over those bumps, it could be trouble for the rest of the field. Yeah,
well, yeah, the bumps, especially on that inside lane, are so much worse than the outside. So as we see coming out of turn 4, just keep an eye on the different lanes here. It's going to go from 3 and actually blend into 4 through the middle here. So watch this. Come on through, and you can see that 4th lane open up on the inside, and that's what kind of creates this confusion when it goes away. So drivers following the white lines, and as soon as they end, it gets real awful confusing. Right there, it goes back down to 3. You got to blend back in.
Will Roberts are going to lap him again. I think he's going to be going 2 laps down here, so he's going to go high, but they're 3 wide, so they better sort it out pretty early. Not Will Roberts, Mitch Welker leading that way outside line. They're going to have to figure something out.
Drag race down the backstretch. McQuistion leads. On the outside, it's Christian Gritzko, and then Mitch Welker again in that 3rd lane trying to come forward. But I think that is that the 34 of Robert Kenny up there behind him? No, it's the 83 of, that looks
Tarian.
Shane Tarian, yeah. So they're gonna get squeezed here as they're gonna try to go 4 wide, and up the middle they go. And that was actually a lot cleaner than I thought it was gonna end up. So nice work there, boys.
Yeah, good job, Will Roberts, staying to the wall, not giving them enough room. You can do that here. In Daytona, it's another story. Will Roberts probably would have gone to the apron in Daytona, but luckily, even without the tri-oval, you have pretty much 4 lanes to work with, as the 91's got a big run to the top for the lead.
Here he comes to the outside of the 93. Got a push from the 42 of Simpson. Look at the 34, Robert Kenny, going to go to the outside with the 84. Remember Tom Bourne? He started all the way back in 19, so he's climbed up inside the top 10. He's ready for action, and he brings Bronson Stafford with him. And we were looking at Stafford at the restart. He was at the tail end of the field, so they've all come forward here on this green flag run.
I think what we're seeing is a lot less drivers willing to be in that lead pack. A lot of drivers are right up at the front. Now we see about maybe 10 to 15 cars staying right next to this lead pack. A lot of drivers laying back, whether it's just by choice or because they don't have enough damage. They have too much damage and they can't hang up there.
Well, getting really busy as they come off of turn number 4. The 42's in the middle. The 84's going to get in the fence and check up the outside lane as they come through the tri-oval.
That was extremely close there. That could have been a big wreck, but he was able to keep the car under him. 84 of, that was Tom Bourne, so he was able to keep that stick, but the 34 lost all his momentum that he had. Whoa, Skinner's on the apron. He almost got into the left rear of, not Indelicato, McQuiston there. That was way too close.
Pretty wild stuff here at the front of the field. 18 laps complete. Nearing the 1/4 mark of this race as here comes the 74 of Indelicato back to the outside lane with help from that 34 car. And now we're 3 by 3 for 2 rows.
He's going to cut all the way back down to get that race lead. So many drivers on that top lane right now. He actually is going to think better of it. Goes all the way back to the top. Now he cuts back down bottom. And then they're going to...
Oh, there's a touch again. The big crash. The 93 upside down on his lid.
Yeah, Travis McQuiston up and over a few times there. More drivers involved in this. The 84 Tom Bourne, big damage. That is another big one.
Oh, man. That was a horrible crash.
My goodness. I don't know what really caused that. The 74 was weaving in the lanes, and then I think it confused Kenny.
Yeah, let's have another look here. The 74, again, I would not be doing this if I'm the 74 after the first incident.
I don't know. He's going to go down, but watch Kenny. Kenny's going to start following him here, and he comes down on the 91. He was confused by what Indelicato was doing. Maybe he thought he was clear as well, and into a 91, and the 93 goes barrel rolling across a couple of drivers.
Right. I mean, man, that was such a huge impact for the 93 to get that airborne like that. Here is another look at this. Yeah, the 34 is going to come down the racetrack. The 91 to Gritzko there's nothing that Gritzko could have done there. And the 93 is going to go up and outside and just wallop that wall and get drilled in the driver's side door and go up and airborne. What a massive accident.
That must have been a really scary view for the driver. He flipped across the 61 and the 84. Got a freaking bird's eye view of what the 93 was doing, doubling through the air.
Let's go back and have a look here at the 29 of R.J. Root. I think he was the closest to it. We'll see if I can find him on the timing screen. Where is the 29? Looks like he is all the way. Where is R.J. Root on the timing?
He's in ninth, I believe.
Way up there. All right, so here's a look at R.J. Root and his onboard. Let's see what he saw.
He's not going to like what he's going to see, that's for sure. A lot of drivers were on that outside lane. I think Delicato realized that. He was thinking for a second, maybe I'll get back to the top, but then he made the move to the bottom. Confused Kenny. Kenny might have thought he was clear. He just cuts down and pretty much causes all this. And look at the car going through the air. He's going to barely turn left. I think he actually went through someone right there. I think he got way lucky there to not get damaged. Yeah,
the 76 of Mitch Welker also kind of a victim of this. And Welker, and again, he was all on his own, trying not to stay out of trouble here, and just, no, not a place to go. Evan Adams dive. Look at Evan Adams dive to the inside lane to try to miss all that.
Colin Fambro barely avoided those cars as well. A lot of drivers just innocent victims of all this.
Look at Adams just going to make a hard left and gets by it. Well done.
He wasn't having any of that. Good move by him. I'm sure a bunch of other people tried following him back there.
All right, so with that, you have to wonder, though, I mean, the 74 was probably mostly at fault for that first crash. Now, he didn't really do anything technically wrong there in the second one, but I think the weaving all over is certainly not going to make you a favorite, especially when a wreck happens, probably in reaction to the driving at the front. So Nick and Delicato should probably cool the jets a little bit because he will not have very many friends. And trust me, Connor, when I say that you're going to want to have friends here in the last 10 or 15 laps.
Well, we saw earlier, the 27 got dumped on the bottom lane. They created a middle lane just to get by him, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happen to Delicato as well, because it's been very aggressive so far. So we'll see if he tries making those moves again or see if he'll cool off. I have a feeling he's not really going to cool off here.
Well, we're going to cut to break just for a minute. We'll be back at the restart here for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. We'll be back in a moment.
If there's one place that defines American motorsport, it's here. The sandy beaches a few miles away held races for decades. It's where NASCAR was born. They need a place to race, a superspeedway so fast and so huge that the cars could run flat out all the way around. So they built it. 1 million square yards of earth was moved to create the banking. The void left behind became Lake Lloyd. And 2.5 miles of asphalt created more than just one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world. It built the foundation of NASCAR. In the decades that followed, Daytona became hallowed ground. The trophies here mean more than any other. Win the 500, put your name on the Harley J. Earl Trophy. Win the 24 hours and strap a Rolex on your wrist. The banks are not always kind. They're not always fair. And while Daytona wins bring a statistical highlight to any career, it's the losses that make it seem pointless. But for every untimely ending, there is a triumphant healing. For every emotional victory, a mind-numbing realization.
Tom O'Gorman fighting for every inch that he can possibly get. Won the last TCR race of last year, Road Atlanta, starting things off in exactly the right style. It is victory for Tom O'Gorman and the LA Honda team.
I won at Daytona. I earned a trophy at the World Center of Racing. The checkered flag waved for me. For me, it was not the end of a career. While it may be a highlight, it is only the beginning. It's just the best ever.
Coming back to the restart here for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series from Talladega after our second big wreck in turn number 4. Dulger Filarski out front. Lap number 22 past the 1/4 mark here from Talladega. The 10th round of the season has been a messy one so far. We'll see who the survivors will be at the end of this 76-lap event. Green flag back in the air. 88 and 2 out front.
With the 0-2 pushing that 88, I talked about it, I think, a bit earlier. Dulger, he's had a lot of bad luck in the Fuel Series the last couple of races he's entered, so maybe luck can be on his side this race. I don't think we're going to see anything cool down, especially now that we're just that much closer to those halfway points.
88 and 0-2 nose to tail. Then RJ Root kind of all by himself there on the bottom, but up top it's Filarski and Nick Indelicato picking each other up nose to tail, and bring in the 42 of Chad Simpson, a Supra to the back of the 74. Got some damage there to worry about. Colin Fambro in a Mustang all by himself in the outside lane and dropping backwards, maybe looking for a teammate here or a place to drop in the bottom, and he will right behind John Wilco, who, remember, if John Wilco was the last driver in the lead lap earlier in the race and the first caution saved him, here he is inside the top 10 at lap 22.
Hopefully that's not a bad omen for him to be in this front pack that's already wrecked twice. I think we got to watch out for a wreck at turn 4. Like you said, 2 wrecks out of turn 4 already. We'll see if they switch it up, or maybe we see another wreck out of 4. It's those two, Indelicato and Filarski, tandeming on the top line, and it's making it work.
And Filarski's going to nose ahead in that number 2 with a big push. There's the 59 of Evan Adams, who survived that second crash by diving for the apron, and he's made it and runs an 8th right now as they come off turn 2.
Also, RJ Root, another survivor, mostly because of luck, went through one of the drivers. He was able to recover, so he's going to see if he can use that luck to his advantage to get a win here, as we're seeing a lot of drivers here who just can't catch up to that lead pack. Robert Kenny, who was involved in that wreck right in the middle of it, actually one of the direct causes of it, getting lapped here.
Tyler Dulgo just cut Calvin Filarski a big break as he cut down from the top to the bottom. He lifted and let that 2-car pull in line. Now the 88 gets to the rear bumper. Going to look up underneath, and here comes the 34. He's going to go a lap down, and now they're going to go 3 wide for a moment. Now they back out and think better of it.
Kind of surprised Filarski didn't go all the way to the bottom. I think he was concerned about if Kenny would come up or not, but that really hurt that inside line, allowing Indelicato to get back to the front.
Ooh, now Indelicato carves his way down to the bottom lane right in front of the 2-car. The 42 of Simpson will be up on the high side now with help from Evan Adams. There's a 27 in the middle and that bright yellow Camaro trying to find his own room to race.
He's trying to get back to the front where he was leading a lot of laps. Now he's going to go 4 wide with Mitch Wilker.
Wow, somehow that worked. And are they still 4 wide? Now they're 3.
Oh, boy. And it somehow worked out for the 27. He's going to get all the way back to the 4th position while Chad Simpson falls back. And a lot of people over the radio not happy with that 27.
Single filed at the front now. Filarski, Dulger in behind Indelicato. Halaba in 5th. RJ Root back there in 7th. Zach Buchanan, for all the damage he got earlier in the race, he's back up here running inside the top 10.
Yeah, trying to get a lot of people in the top 10 right now trying to get a good run. A lot of the drivers up at the front right now, usually drivers you will not see at the front for most of the season, so trying to get a finish wherever they possibly can.
Relatively single filed out now as they come out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. And looking back, Don Runkle Jr. in the 00. Right on the inside of the 76 and the 91 of Christian Gritzko. There's Evan Adams going high around the 42. It seems like he thought they weren't going to work together very well, so he will jump up to the high side.
Something notable to talk about here. Thomas Bresci, he was laying at the back. He actually just disconnected. He lagged out, so his internet's dropped. He was 16 points behind Shane Terrian for that points lead, and it could have been big. But he's going to lose a lot of points today if he doesn't get back in the race. Yeah, I remember he gained a bunch after last week's run at North Wilkesboro. He was actually really on schedule to get very close to the points lead, but Shane Terrian put tires on in the last 5 or 6 laps of that race, charged his way forward up to a top 10 finish. So Terrian dodged a bullet this week, and so far he's managed to survive, and he runs top 15 right now.
actually make that 17th. So Shane Terrian's still in the race, and Thomas Pressey better get back in here if he wants to keep that points differential low.
Yeah, I don't think Terrian cares about going for those points just yet. That being said, he is mounting a charge on the top lane. He's got Bronson Stafford pushing him up the Colin Farnborough, laying back maybe about half a second from the very back of that lead pack right here.
Field working the way off of turn number 4, and Michael Skinner right in front of the 40 of Buchanan. And across the line here, lap number 27. Nice double file lines here. Will the 74 go up to block? It looks like he will not. He'll stay on the inside.
27, a big run. Buchanan, even though he has damage, able to keep pace with the lead pack with help from behind. Chad Simpson, a couple other drivers on damage, keeping that 40 in the pack and giving a huge shove to that 27. Now Buchanan looking high. Now Evan Adams actually looking to the third lane, trying to get out of it. Yeah,
Evan Adams had a big run coming. He wasn't able to back out, so he just jumped right to avoid having to slam on the brakes, and that's given the 76 and 91 a way to go forward, so they will drive up inside the top 10 in that front pack. And some damage to the front of the 76 and to the side of the 40, but once you're in the draft, these cars seem to be relatively forgiving about damage, and it doesn't seem to be hurting them all that much.
It's especially important to get someone behind you to push. If you're just pushing someone, you'd say if you're at the tail end of a pack, you're likely not going to hang on to that pack, but because he has friends behind him to work with, he's going to be good here as he's going to help push that 27 back to the front.
Running on board with Christian Gritzko in the 91 behind Mitch Welker in the Airtran Supra. And this is going to feel relatively orderly watching it, but in the race car, this is a very tense part of the race here, this double file racing. It looks very simple, but it's definitely not. It's dragging out your mental capacity quite a bit.
Yeah, your heartbeat races, whether you're at the front race for the lead or you're just hanging at the back of the lead pack waiting for something to happen. Your heart's beating so fast. You're always on edge no matter where you are in the pack. It's thrilling to be a part of it. It's also very scary to be part of because you never know when that big one is just going to cause it. It's going to cause and just take you right out. And Delicado goes back to the top.
He has been a slippery guy out front today, and he's going to try to get up in front of the 40. It looks like he will just get there. And he'll go back to the top spot over Michael Skinner as they come to the line.
I don't know if Buchanan wanted to go with him. He peaked that third lane, but I don't think he really wanted to risk that. As Delicado's going to go to the third lane, chop right back down on the 40. Weaving in and out of both lanes, not choosing a lane.
Yeah, and he's trying. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to, like, I guess, called Chase Elliott it, where you kind of control the lanes. But it's not something that I would recommend in sim racing, just because Chase Elliott's really good at it, and not as good as Dale Jr. was, but it's really rare that you get someone that's as good as those guys are. But so far, I guess it's worked out okay on this green flag run for Delicado, and Buchanan follows him down.
Yeah, so 3 drivers going to get clear. It's going to be Skinner going to the top lane. Actually, it was Buchanan going
look
to
at
the
the 40.
top lane now. Going to leave Delicado alone there. Buchanan wasn't happy with how 74 wasn't picking a lane, but just trying to control the lanes, wasn't able to do it there, wasn't risking a block like that.
These guys are getting really aggressive. It's like real life. The blocks keep getting worse every race that we do. Drivers get more and more aggressive, chopping across lanes, but now the 40 goes to the outside, the 27 goes back to the bottom, and Chad Simpson's in line. Nick Delicado wants forward again.
He's going to try to push the 27 clear and also try to push himself clear, just not quite clear. Now he's clear. Maybe he wants to get up, but I don't think he wants to risk it way too close there as that outside lane starts to lose a bit of steam.
Oh, big push from the 74 to the back of the 27. He's going to get that clear notification to probably drive up to the outside lane. And this is something that Buchanan probably should be expecting now. The 74 is going to try to work his way up and over to driver's right. Here he comes. Took a look. He's still pushing the 27. There's the move. And the 27 goes up to block. He goes back down to the bottom.
This is we're barely at lap 30 just this time by, and I don't think, we saw it earlier, we're going to see it again, the 27 getting dumped out of the lead pack by Buchanan and others.
If there's any doubt on who the alpha male is here today, I think it's definitely the 74. He has been the most aggressive, and he gets to go back to the top spot. The 27 gets sucker hold, the 40 car to the outside, followed by the 42.
Well, it's so funny to me because the 27 hasn't caused anything really. Well, he's been making just as aggressive moves, if not more aggressive than the 74. The 74 has been forced out of the pack, and the 27's already been forced out of the pack twice.
Yeah, I think the key thing here is the 74 has led 10 laps, and the 27 has led 9. So either way, it seems like it's not really that beneficial to do one or the other, except maybe the 27 might have more friends, but even I doubt that. He's probably made as many people upset as the 74 has. So, typically when you're aggressive, some drivers will look at you and say you're crazy, and others will go, that guy's good. I'm going to use him later when I want to go to the front.
Well, those guys who tried to split the 27 are just going to get more mad because it lost them so much time, and they had no choice but to follow the 27, so they're going to have to push him back all the way to the front.
32 laps in to our 76-lap race. It's been a wild one so far. A handful of, well, I should say a handful of 2 cautions slowing the progress, both of them relatively large incidents. Checking back in with a couple drivers that we haven't talked about in a little while. Riley Thompson still back in 27th. Finney and DeCuna back up inside the top 20 in 20th. Evan Adams almost in the fence as he went 3 wide with RJ Root, but now it's 74 and 2 out front on their own.
They're going to have to get down from the third lane. More lap traffic. They're passing Robert Kenny again, and also the 17-year-old Roberts getting lapped again. Both of them going 2 down, so they'll get up and get out of the way. So the outside lane, after they tried to put the 27 in the middle, that sucker hole just doesn't work as well as it does in real life, so they just have to get right back behind him. They're going to have to push him back up to the front again.
Look at the run that the 27 has now. He's got the 40 Buchanan coming with him. Filarski, I think, saw it. He thought about moving over right to block, but he's going to stay in line. Filarski's been relatively conservative at plate tracks in the past. He isn't really known to be jumping out of line and making crazy moves, and for Filarski, typically it works out pretty well. So I think his strategy of just stay in behind the leader and don't do anything wild might pay off for him a little bit later tonight. So he's going to stay on the bottom as the 27 gets that run on the backstretch.
See if Indelicato forces him any higher with a block. I don't think it's worth blocking the 27 right now, but I don't think it's been worth blocking most of the race, but they've been doing it anyways. It's at 27, again, getting a great push for Buchanan. I think people are seeing, even with that damage, how well of a pusher that 40 machine is. That will also come into play later in this race. Yeah,
let's think about halfway as well. That's only a couple laps from now. There's definitely points on the line, and you consider lap 38 is 5 laps from now. Drivers are going to get real aggressive here as we come to the last 5 laps of the first half of this race. We're going to award some points. So, and Delicato certainly got those circled.
Yeah, those top 10 going to get all those points, and Delicato's looking for all 10, looking for any points he can really get right now. Can't remember off the top of my head raising the points. I don't think he's that high up in the points. All the way back in 18th, about, I'd say, the 50 to 40 points behind that chase cut line, so he really needs these if he wants any sort of shot to claw his way back in.
Right, and he has won a race earlier this season, but he is definitely down on points. He's missed 2 races, and unless he plans on making every single race from here on out, it's going to be really hard to get into the chase. But again, I think the goal for tonight is just to get as many points as he can to help himself out. Coming to the line this time, lap number 35 we will start. And now we've got a handful more drivers jumping into this party. You see the 83 Atarian, the 61 of Stafford, Michael Stroll, RJ Root rejoining the club at the front.
I think this is exactly what Tarian wanted to do. He wanted to lay low until he had these opportunities to his points, trying to get that top line to work, trying to get as big of a gap in the points lead as he can get, as Thomas Bresci obviously fell out of this race. I think Bresci's actually back on track now. Yes, he is, way laps down, but A3 going to try to widen that points lead out, but I just don't know how well that top lane's going to go. Oh, he just went to the bottom, getting by the 91. Oh, he's looking middle. No, that's not going to work.
Really dicey here in the middle of this front pack. And going back to the point situation for the 74 wildcard spot for the chase to consider if he makes the rest of the races here on out. So that's what he's going for. And across the line this time to complete lap number 35. There's a lot of hungry drivers that could certainly use those points. And I'm thinking Mitch Welker is, again, he's looking at the point situation, trying to figure out where he is in the standings.
Mitch Welker, let's see, he's 16th in the points, Mitch Welker is. He's not too far ahead of Indelicato, actually 16th and 18th, only separated by about 9 points. So both these drivers, if they really care about the points, they really need to get them here. It is good for, Indelicato got really sideways from Filarski. What's good about Indelicato's situation is he goes to block the 27. The guys behind him, Filarski and Dolger, they're really not running for points. They haven't ran enough, not high enough in the points. They're really just running just to run. That's good for him because he's probably going to trust them not to get out of line to get in front of a 27.
Yeah, remember, the only trophy that those guys care about is going to come at lap number 76. So you're running a very different race from some of the drivers scattered throughout this field. And Delicato in the 74 will come across the line. This will mark 2 laps to go in our halfway race here. And we're going to see if Buchanan, and again, I think Buchanan is probably a little bit far out of it as well, but I think we're focused on Mitch Welker as being a driver that wants some points. You could probably consider Chad Simpson one of those guys that wants some points. And really Michael Stroll as well, back in 11th or 12th spot. So lots of drivers that want to charge their way forward. They're going to have about 5 miles left to do it.
Oh, I thought the 2 was going to stay low, but he actually jumped up in front of Skinner, so he's going to take that lead from Indelicato. Kind of surprised by that.
through 3 and 4, and he's going to pull down in front of the 74. That's going to make things very interesting here because we're coming to the white flag for the halfway race here from Talladega in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Nick Indelicato wants to get back by, and I'm sure he will find a way to get there. Look at the 83, Shane Terrian dropping out of line in 3 wide back there for about 10th spot.
I don't know how many points he's going to get from up there, but it's really his last resort. The 27 losing steam, and Delicato's for sure going to get clear of the top lane. Buchanan's going to jump all the way to the third lane. No help for the 27. 4 wide.
That's 4 wide. That ain't going to work, boys. Try to figure that out cleanly. 4-4-4. 76-40 teammates together.
Boy.
The 83 and 61 almost into the fence. Look at this drag race down the backstretch now. Filarski and Delicato. Nick's going to move the drivers right here in a moment if he wants to take the lead away from the race. The 88 of Dahlger in third. Skinner and Holaba 4th and 5th.
It's going to be at a 4 where Delicato's going to have to make that move high, and I don't know if Filarski's going to block it. The 27's got a big run. I think Delicato's going to have to go up. He's already looking. Here he goes.
He's going to look to the outside, going to take that run from the 27, going to squeeze in the hole. Here they come. Drag race to the halfway point. Points on the line. 74 gets the push from the 27 and across the line. Lap number 39 halfway, and it's going to be Nick Indelicato. Expertly pulled out move, and he will jump to the top spot and grab those points. It's Skinner, Simpson, Filarski, Dahlger, Welker, Holaba, Buchanan, Terrian, and Runkle grabbing the rest of the top 10 points.
The only point Terrian got out of, he only got the 10th place point, all the one. And now after all that scattering out because of that 4 wide, that puts the 2 dominant drivers of the race and 2 of the most aggressive drivers all race back up at the front as they lap Bresson for a 10th time.
91 of Gritzko going to go middle 3 wide. They're going to be 4 with the lapper of Thomas Bressi. Going to squeeze up the middle there. Gritzko going to force the 83 out of line. He's been working with that 61 since the drop of the green flag, but they have not really been able to charge all the way to the front. So I think they might have to reconsider at least the order that they're pushing in if they want to go forward.
I just don't think that third line really has it. It takes a lot of circumstances for that third lane to really get going. Just look how much time they're losing. They might actually be dropping to the back again. They charged for those halfway points, didn't really get what they wanted. They might just be bowing out for a little bit.
Delicato has commanded this race. Remember, leading laps, 18 laps led, the most of anybody yet today, so I think that's a consideration as well. Going for max points here, maybe.
That's definitely the aim right now. He really only has to fight with the 27, who's really not looking too good in the points battle right now. He might be too late for the 27 to even get close to the chase. Way back there, only ran 7 races himself. But if I had to take a mid-race pick for the win, these 2 are definitely our favorites, I think. They've been at the front most of this race. Whether it's been too aggressive racing or not, they've been the ones to beat.
In the background, you see Don Runkle Jr. on the inside with that car is filthy, but not a scratch on it from the start of the race. So Runkle's kept that, I don't want to say the nose clean because it's not, but he's kept the nose undented, I guess is the best I can say about it.
Yeah, there might be dings here and there, but really no big damage. That you can tell who's been at the very back and who's been at the very front. That 74 looking much more clean than that 00.
Yeah, I think Don has also probably driven through some engine smoke or some oil as well. That might have been some of the reasons why that car is covered like that. And Delicato and Skinner, for as much as they've been battling, they've also been working fairly well together. So friends for now maybe, but come lap number 75 or 76, I think you'll see them very much foes.
Not sure what the fuel window is, but this might be around the time when drivers start thinking about getting themselves sorted out for those pit stops as Skinner took a look high, got back in line. But we'll be waiting to see who makes the first move on the pit road.
That can't be too long from now before we'll start seeing drivers come on down, and that would make it pretty much probably a one-stop race here if you could stretch it a few more laps. The 00 going to jump up in front of Chad Simpson to move Runkle up to 6th. Skinner looking pretty racy on the tailpipes of the 74, but nowhere to go just yet.
This has been the most tame I think the race has been for most of this night so far. The outside lane hasn't been there since the end of that. Oh, the 27 swipes across the 74. This has been the most tame, most far back that outside line has been, as they're starting to gain a charge now, but they were really laying back there for a few laps.
There's a handful of drivers that have been laying towards the back that I expect to see towards the front come the end of the race. One of them is that 94, Finian DeCuna. Remember, he was running up inside the top 10 when that first wreck happened. He has not been back up there since. I think he's lingering with his teammate Casey Lakatos. Rich Jett's back here as well. So is the 20 of Jason Brophy and the 56 of Riley Thompson. And we saw him battling right from the get-go. So there's a lot of drivers back here that are just lingering and I think waiting for that pit stop and then moving their way forward.
I think when Riley Thompson realized he was spinning out to avoid wrecking even more, I think he realized, I'm done racing for a little bit. So he's just going to sit back there in his Supra and hopefully just lay back until maybe after these green flag stops to go charge at the front again. Look at Don Ruckle Jr., big push from Chad Simpson for the lead.
Don Runkle Jr. in the Mission 22 car going to get a big push from the 42 off into turn 3. The 27 is going to respond with a push to the back of the 74. And now it could be a drag race. Mustang versus Camaro, the American muscle in Alabama, going for it in the banking here at Talladega. And Indelicato is going to hold off the Mustang for now as they come out of 4.
There's 2 Camaros on the bottom, been working really well. I think the 27 wanted to get clear, but the 0 maybe make a move to the outside. He actually is clear now, but he hasn't moved up yet. We'll see if he even does. Maybe he's content with riding on the bottom. Nope, just as I say that, there he goes to the outside.
So move the 27 to Skinner to the middle groove, and Don Runkle will have to slot in line. Maybe he'll take the lane 3 wide. Looked like he wanted to, but he just heard him lift off the throttle, so he's going to stay in line here, just breathing the nose for a second to get some air down on that intake. And then he'll tuck in behind the 42 and the 76 of Welker.
And look at him, look at on the outside. That's Evan Adams, I think, all on his own, actually making some decent ground because of how much checking up's going in the middle. He's almost all the way up into about maybe around the 8th position, but no help. That's not going to last very long.
Yeah, I think he's been kind of running this outside groove because I don't think Evan likes being in a position where people are checking up a lot, and as soon as the field checks up, he just dives for safety in there in that 3rd or 4th lane. And honestly, I don't hate that strategy. It's certainly a short-term loss, but it could be a long-term gain.
It is. It's looking like a short-term game as well. He's making decent time, almost side-by-side with Don Runkle, and now he has some runners with him. Briscoe got up in behind him as well as Mitch Welker, but for some reason it seems like the more cars you have, the worse it gets.
Yeah, he was kind of hanging on his own, hanging tough out there for a bit, but now he's dropping back. You see the 40 Buchanan's going to dive for the inside lane behind the 29 of RJ Root. But Indelicato continues to lead this race. Filarski seems pretty content here in 2nd. Skinner hasn't been content pretty much anywhere tonight, and he's going to go for the lead with a big push from Runkle here on the backstretch.
Going to take another set of corners to get him back side by side with the 74, as he's got to be careful if he doesn't get back down. If he doesn't clear for that race lead, it's going to be tough for him to get anywhere close to the bottom for pit stops unless he really risks it.
And again, pit stops are a consideration here in the next little bit. We're going to be making drivers come on down to get tires and fuel. Again, drivers have gone about 26 laps at the front here. So again, if you can make it, another 3 or 4 laps, or actually 2 or 3 laps, and you can easily go the distance on what you've got left. So I think drivers are trying to make it to that magic number. There's a 27 up high now with Dulger going to fill the inside for 3rd.
Try to see if those 2, the Welker and Evan Adams, can make some significant ground on the top lane. It seems like it doesn't matter what type of car it is. A 2-car tandem at the very top lane at these super speedways is way better than having 3 or more cars. As you can see that it was working there as they almost got side by side with Skinner, as Skinner's going to make a move for the lead now.
27, that bright yellow car, it's easy to spot from a distance. Going to go head-to-head with the 74 as they come out of turn number 4. This is a milestone lap, 30 laps to go this time by, about 25 minutes worth of racing. That tells me we're getting pretty close to the end of this thing. So make a pit stop and figure out how you want to run to the end. Find your buddies, because if you've been out there like Evan Adams has been, kind of running on your own, I'm not sure if you know who you're going to work with for the last little bit of this race. If you're a guy like Mitch Welker or you're a guy like, I guess, the 27, you know who you've been working with, and you've got some friends to help you out to the end of this race, and that's important here at Dega.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone behind these 2 try to maybe force them out, as the 00 is going to go way to the top to try to lose momentum for that 27. A big push on that top lane. I don't think he's going to get clear, but 27 is going to get darn close.
Mustang and a handful of Supras up there pushing on the outside row, and that's going to push Runkle all the way up to 2nd. He's just now getting even with the 74. He might have the momentum to go to lead here for a moment. I'm not sure it'll be enough to take him all the way clear of the 74, but look at that run now as Runkle takes the lead 3 wide at Talladega. Not quite clear, though, and they're going to run back to the line. I think Skinner will lead this lap.
All of a sudden, Skinner in that 27, now he's got the momentum. He's actually clear of Indelicato now, which is a big moment, but I think he's going to stay middle because he's still got the better push from Chad Simpson, but into the corner, the 74 is gradually going to get closer to him. He's going to cut down just at the very last second.
Yeah, a little bit of cooperation there. I think Indelicato kind of helped facilitate that just a little bit, but it certainly looked close as they come out of turn 2. So move Skinner back to the front. I don't think Indelicato wants to be sitting in 2nd here. He's going to push, try to get his run back as Briscoe gives a big shove to the 42 to try to see if they can open up that hole in the bottom between the 74 and the 2 car. That hole's open. It's just not quite a car length just yet.
Yeah, Simpson finally making his way for a run at the race lead as Don Runkle falling way back. Him and Evan Adams. Oh, Evan Adams actually into a wall out of 4. He's able to keep it straight as Mitch Welker takes evasive action, but that top lane pretty much gone. Now Buchanan tries to lead the 3rd lane without much help.
Yeah, Runkle's going to bail on that. That just wasn't a strategy that I think was going to work. The momentum was dying, and I think Buchanan went there too late to make anything happen. Move the 27 back to the front, and this tells me that 74 might go for a look here in a second. If I'm That's 42.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be expecting that he'll do that, so I will not do what the 30 car did earlier. And there goes the 74 to the outside. He's going to make that move and get a run.
Yeah, you can tell that the 74 and the 27, I think they know it's between those two if they stay up front. They're going to be out in charge. Look at the 91, look to the middle to dump the 42 as Delicado's going to get down to block that move. As the 91 gets all the way to second, tried to get the 74's back bumper to the left rear of him, but wasn't able to make it work.
Yeah, he chased him all the way down to the apron and almost went below it for a second as he tried to get the nose up underneath. Wasn't able to do so. He's still peeking to try to see if he can get the 74 to leave him a lane. Ain't going to happen here as we come to lap number 50. And it's 74, 91, 27, your top three. 42 sucker hold middle with the 00 and the 40, sandwiching him in between.
Oh, the 91's going to look low, and then Delicado on his left rear pushes him up the track into turn number 1 to get the race lead away. That was very interesting. Did not expect a move like that.
Well, Gritzko going to show the nose, and he'll, I guess, a bump and run at Talladega. Not something I've seen before. Let's do it, though, as the 91 goes to the top spot. Let's have a quick look at how that happened as they came off into turn number 1. Here's a look.
That was definitely as close as you're going to get to a bumper run. His tires, his left side's almost below that yellow line, but he was able to surprisingly make it work. I think Delicado gave him a lot of leeway to make that not a big wreck.
Well, I think the 74's mistake was he left 3/4 of a lane, and if you leave anything, a driver will take it. So you have to be cautious not to leave anything. Because we got some drivers peeling off for pit lane. Bronson Stafford, I believe, is one of them, and some locking up tires. It's the 02
well.
and the 29.
And RJ Root.
Yes,
only
I don't
3
think
cars.
Stafford actually came, so just a couple.
Just 2 cars for now. So we'll see if those two together might be able to stay with the lead pack, or maybe get ground on him, as seeing more shuffling for the race lead a little bit here to 27, left with really no help as Gritzko's going to keep that race lead. And Delicado almost cleared at 2. Is he going to go high? I don't think so. No run in that middle.
Can make it to the end easily here on fuel. 25 laps to go. We've completed 32 on this run. 91 Gritzko, and now we're 3 wide with the 27 in the middle.
The 3rd time they've been trying to sucker him out of this lead pack, but he's just way too strong by himself, surprisingly. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold off 3 cars. Delicado's going to go to the middle looking for the race lead now. Is he going to get all the way to the top? I don't think so. So he's going to have him and the 27 work together, as I think Evan Adams just peeled off for pit road by himself.
Yeah, he certainly did. That's going to be a big problem for him, I think. So he'll have to see where that cycles him back out for the race lead, though, and Delicado will lead that lap. 25 to go. 74, 27, 42, and 40. And with the 76 there inside the top 5 as well. A handful of Project 2 cars, though. I like the team force that Project 2 has with their handful of Supras towards the front. I like having teammates around me, something that the 74, 27, and 42 are going to have to pretty much be playing it solo as they run drag race down the backstretch here.
At 27 with the block the 42's run. Getting really spread out at this point, at least at the front of this pack. A lot of drivers trying to get in line. Gritzko dropped all the way back to about 7th or 8th position. So we'll see if they're just sorting everyone out, trying to get into pit road, Not sure when they're coming, but it seems like they're stretching this even farther.
Out of turn number 4, and I don't think there'll be any more takers from this group at the front. Evan Adams is back out on the racetrack now, but again, I think they might stretch this a little bit longer so that they can just fuel, or 4 wide in the middle. The 94 is going to get turned. Daytona.
I don't think that's going to be a yellow, but he's going to hit that inside wall a pretty good ton here. He's going to come back onto the track, still spinning it out. Can't save it off the track. I don't think that's going to be a yellow.
Here's a look. They were 4 wide. I just don't think they knew they were 4 wide. See, the 94 is going to get this big run here. David Mott's going to go to the inside, and yeah, that David Mott that was a big mistake there on the 10's part.
Yeah, unfortunate for Finney. He was running good, just biding his time. The 10 saw a lot of room, and he wanted to get to the front then. And I think he actually hit the 25 of Chambliss in that, which really shot him up the track. Then
he corrected and just drove right into the back of the 94. So unfortunately for Daytona, he's got fairly significant rear-end damage, and he'll be way down. He needs a caution now to save his day. But if I'm him, I would just come hit pit lane and get back out there on the racetrack and be in position to just stay out of the next stop, or next caution, I say, because we are definitely not done crashing here. I think there's still a chance that we wad up a big number of cars here. So that could have been a blessing in disguise. We'll find out later.
We've seen the blocking sort of die down from the first 2 yellows, but after these set of pit stops, when these guys have fresh tires and all the fuel they need to complete the race, you're going to see the lane changing get way more aggressive, especially with the 74 and 27 leading these 2 lines.
Down the back straightaway now, approaching 20 laps to go, and this is already what I consider go time at a plate track. I think there's not such a thing as waiting around a whole lot longer, and the only thing that makes this a little bit weird is we still have a pit stop in what I would call a go time, so you're still not quite in go mode. If you wait too much longer, though, Connor, that just makes things too intense after the pit stop. I think people will get too impatient, so I would be pitting now, and that way I've got some more time to facilitate my strategy towards the end of the race.
Yeah, right now, actually, I'm trying to look at the lap times for RJ, Root, and Halaba right now. 51.8 last time by. Lead pack that time ran a 51.4, so they're not going to be in good shape because they're losing time to that lead pack.
Again, there's not enough cars in that pack to make that worth their time. And Delicado leads. Buchanan is now slotted into second. And he's brought his teammate Mitch Welker with him on the bottom lane. And despite their damage, they have persisted today inside the top 5. Skinner going to go to the outside with help from Chad Simpson. They've worked pretty well together in that middle group today.
Yeah, Chad Simpson's been the pusher pretty much the whole race here. I'm wondering when he's finally going to go for the race lead on his own. Not seeing, he hasn't gotten much help from behind. He's, like I said, he's been the pusher, so the 27's definitely thankful for that so far, but let's see how long that lasts.
Chad Simpson with a big run here in the middle groove, and not going to go anywhere with it. Still double file. Oh, there's a touch! And then a 27 is going to slam the outside wall back into traffic, and another big wreck here.
No yellow yet. Skinner got it going straight as the 92 Christopher Matthews comes down the track. Everyone gets it going straight, and we stay green somehow.
That was amazing. I think there's a little bit of netcode that started that whole thing. I don't think they had actually touched, but that's it for...
Skinner's destroyed.
Yeah, that's it for Skinner. Here's a look here.
He was one of the bigger threats to win this race. There's the 40 of Buchanan. Not sure if he came up so much. We'll see right here.
Yeah, I think he
drifts
drifts up.
A little bit. Definitely netcode as well. The 27 can't save it. Down the track, Shane Terrian got some damage as well. Didn't see that at first.
Yeah, so is Shane Terrian going to have significant damage? Look at the rear end of that car all torn off. So will that impact his performance? Now remember, the guy that he's battling in the points, Thomas Bresci, is stuck 10 laps down in 30 seconds. So regardless of what happens at Terrian, as long as he finishes this race, he'll be in good position in the points. So there's some perspective needed, and that was lucky that the 24 had issues. Otherwise, it'd be a different story.
That might have helped Halaba and RJ Root a little bit. A 51.5 for them, while Delicado only ran a 52 flat, while that pack tried to sort themselves out again. So the lead pack's about only 10 cars now, so this is going to be a really big fight on pit road to see who gets the track position, as Skinner's staying on the track, actually going down the backstretch right now as that smoke is from him. He's not going down all the way to the apron. Don't know why.
Whoa!
Guys, you got to go to the apron there. I don't know what the 27's doing there.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. I mean, there's so much apron to be used there, and while you're driving above that, that is a huge mistake for the 27, and that, frankly, that's the signal that you should be off the racetrack probably for the day.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, get off the racetrack, guys. We've seen that happen in ORL before, and I wasn't.
He just got removed.
Yeah, I wasn't mincing words when that happened with Robert Gaba with ORL back in the spring, and I won't mince words now. That was stupid. And and now we're going to split Will Roberts 3 wide. What is going on out there tonight?
I don't know. Will Roberts got barely split there. Not sure what that was about. I doubt Will Roberts will get removed from the server.
Well, to be honest, in his defense, he might have been busy removing the other car. So he might have been.
Polarski who removed Skinner.
Oh,
so
well, they're all multitasking right now.
They were probably both trying to. That was again really close. This lead pack definitely more thin. And now the question is, are they all going to pit together? Actually, Delicado just said over here he's pitting next time by, so I think we'll see the rest of the pack pit as well.
Well, that was good reaction times by everybody at the front that didn't turn into a bigger issue. And it looks like the 40 of Buchanan's going to peel off. He's going to bring a teammate with him, and 76, and it looks like all the Project 2 cars will come on down. Welker's in a little hot. Can he get it woed down? Yes, he does. Nicely done there.
Let's see if this works out for them pitting earlier than the rest of the guys. Now, I'm actually trying to see if that second pack is going to get back up there. They're led by Colin Fambro, Casey Lacadas, Rich Jett, John Wilco, David Mott, who caused that little incident with Daytona. So I'm wondering if they're going to be in this fight a little bit. I think they're going to have a long way to get up to those drivers. They're going to be perfect on the lead, on their pit stops, excuse me.
Well, I think what's going to help a lot of the drivers that pit earlier is this front pack is so out of sync with each other that I think it's going to make this slow down this front pack just a little bit. So it's going to be chaotic here. In the we just heard that Will Roberts was dealing with the 27. That's why he was distracted there. So there's an excuse there, as the rest of the field is going to hit pit lane. And now, as soon as you make this pit stop, it's a race to the end. Can the 74 get woed down? He's in real hot now. He got it stopped. Good work there.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be able to get away with it. The second pack, Lacadas, Chambliss, David Mott, all those other guys are also going to be able to pit as well, trying to keep pace with that lead pack, as Mott has the first pit stall. You can't overshoot your pit stall either. Got to be wary of that. As that Fambro actually just did overshoot his pit by a little bit.
So now, who cycles out to lead this race? I'm not exactly sure who's going to end up.
Sorry, Delicado. I was wondering why that was happening in his pit stall. It's Jeremy Miller in his stall, just sitting there.
I wonder if there's a message being sent there.
I think so. How long did he sit there he's been there pretty much the whole time then. That's kind of surprising, as
I guess so.
Delgado's going to come out in behind the 88 and the 2, so he loses some positioning there, but it shouldn't hurt him too much. As I'm actually watching RJ Root and Matt Holliba, this is actually going to work out for them. They're going to be at least at that second pack. They might be able to get to that front pack.
They're charging with a big head of steam. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough, though. That's a long way up to where Dahlgren and Delicado are. I mean, it's going to be pretty tight here. And the 2 car of Filarski might be the leader of this race. The problem is the 88 and 74 are going to have a big head of steam because they're drafting on the warm-up here.
I'll tell you what, that really spread out the lead pack even more. We're going to be down to just these 3 cars, I think. Dahlgren, Delicado, and Filarski all on their own. Don Rocco Jr. just laying back there in that 4th position. So this really might only be 4 cars. I'm not sure how the rest of this race is going to pan out now.
Yeah, I think the 74 wanted to go around those front 2, but Dahlgren backed out. I think it's a short-term gain, long-term loss to try to leapfrog the slower 2 car. I think you pick him up and try to go. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Is that Don Runkle back there as well?
Yeah,
yes, it is.
I believe he's 4th, so he's barely trying to hang on to these guys. I think he might be able to stay with them. He's pretty much there now. So a 4-car lead pack for this last about 15 laps or so. And RJ Root, Matt Holliba, Chad Simpson actually got down with those 2, so maybe those 3 can muster up a charge to the front.
Rest of the field on pit lane, Thompson, Brophy, Shu, and there's also the 24 car coming on down. And I think for Thomas Bresci, the goal is maybe to get that 4 car in victory lane. So that's probably where the sole focus is there. Rich Jett, I think, is the last driver on the racetrack to have yet to come to pit lane. He's actually getting passed right now. So that will put, once they cycle back out, Calvin Filarski will be leading this race. And it's really a 4-car race at the front here until we start grouping back up. So this really brings down our chance of caution. I would say that except for the second group here, this is going to make me nervous.
Yeah, the second group's going to be pushing really hard. They're going to be trying to sort each other out to see what way they can get to the lead pack faster. But I don't think it might already be too late for them, but it never hurts to just keep trying, as these 4 are going to get formed up. Actually, I can't tell if Rich Jett's on the lead lap. Rich Jett in this battle is now. And also Michael Stroll and John Wilco, who've been running at the back most of the race, I believe. I haven't seen both of them all day. They're going to get up there maybe if they can tandem together.
So coming back in here on the lead lap, Riley Thompson going to cycle up to 11th here. That was a good gain for him. But Filarski leads the way, and it's really just these front 4 that are kind of in a race of their own. Michael Stroll, I don't think he has come to pit lane just yet, or has he? Yes, he has. So Stroll has come to pit lane, so has Rich Jett. I don't know, guys. This is going to be this last, 15 laps or so. If we don't get a caution, I think it's going to be one of these front 5 or 6 that's going to go to victory lane. We're going to need a yellow if you want Chad Simpson or anybody from really Thompson on back to have a shot.
Yeah, trying to watch the times for the leaders. Filarski leading that front pack 51 5s and 4s. Stroll and Wilco are pretty much there with 51 flats. RJ Root, Matt Holliba also running 51 flats, so those 2 might be able to get there as well if they can keep that up. That second pack as well, I can't tell if they were faster or not, but there's a lot of cars in that lead pack, and they're trying to stay single file.
Filarski leads. The 74 is going to go way up the racetrack. That's strangely high. I'm surprised that he was letting some of these guys by here. I wonder if there's an ulterior motive here.
Not quite sure, but he's going to drop all the way to the back of this pack. He's definitely still going to be in it. Ooh, trying to see someone blow up in the back of the pack. I saw smoke. I'm not sure what happened, but it might have been just lag. Everyone's still good.
Matthew Rodriguez is suspiciously slow here. Let's see if there was anything that happened to the 57. He was just letting people by. I don't think there was anything suspicious about that.
I think it was just, it must have been lag or something. Everyone's all good. Nothing to see there.
Nothing to see here. Everything's fine.
Everything looks pretty good. Everyone looks pretty good. As I'm trying to see about 7 cars in this lead pack now, as Delicado's staying on that top lane by himself, trying to get maybe back up to the front. But if he's trying to get back up to the front, why did you go high? Not quite sure, but I'm still looking at RJ Root and Matt Holliba. I think they're going to get there, and that second pack is gaining really fast as well. 15.9s for them last time by.
There's Vinny DeCuna going a lap down. It's been a frustrating day for him, just getting caught up in other people's messes. He'll drop into the free pass position. Going to hope for a very quick yellow. But again, I think a yellow is really only likely within the last 2 or 3 laps, and that's if things get wilder. At the front, I think we're going to be pretty good here. Look at Rich Jett getting a big push from the 74 in that Godzilla 77 Camaro.
Meanwhile, it was 51 4s for pretty much everyone in the lead pack. RJ and Holliba 50.7s. They're definitely going to get there. That second big pack of 50.9, they're gaining fast. They might get there just in time. We'll see as Stroll's going to go to the top to help those other 3 as Rich Jett clears for the race lead as Will Roberts is going to the apron.
If that second group gets there, hell's gonna break loose at the front of this field.
Oh, yeah.
We have this time by it'll be 11 laps to go. So if they get there, it's gonna be absolutely chaos, and I do imagine we'll get a pretty sizable wreck at that point. Whoa, gonna go 3 wide here. Wilco to the outside for position.
I'm kind of surprised they're doing this. They're just going to let that second pack just get there even quicker as they're going to get more spread out. But Delicado wants that lead as Wilco's going to stay with him. Filarski right up to the bumper of Rich Jet now.
Yeah, they got to get this sorted out and sorted out fast. Otherwise, they're going to get run down, and it's going to be a very chaotic last 3 or 4 laps here from Talladega. And the front driver that is really in command of this group will end up being, I think it'll be RJ Root in the 29, and maybe in that second group, Riley Thompson in the 56. So they're going to be charging with a head of steam. It might be a 3 or 4 mile an hour speed differential. Could be as high as 10 as they come. Oh, here's the 29. Look at this speed that they've got coming.
I think they should have waited until 4 to make that move to the top, but they've been tandeming so well together, those two.
Oh, they're going to split.
They're actually going to split after working so well. They're just going to stay at the back of the pack here as Rich Jet is in the top lane blocking the 74 as Wilco's going to try another move to the top lane, but he's got no help. He's going to try to strolls up the middle there trying to get some track position.
And while these guys fight, behind them, Riley Thompson leads a thundering pack of about 15 cars charging forward. And this is going to be the end of the reign of these front runners if they let them come, because they're going to be coming with a head of steam, and I don't think that they're going to nicely merge into the pack like the 29 and 02 did.
I don't know, last time by the lead pack ran 51.2s and that second pack ran 50.9s, 0.3 of a second, that's good, but 10 laps to go, you need more than that. They're going to need more if they want to get there in time.
I think as long as these guys continue to fight, I think that gap is only going to increase in the speeds as they come. Look at the 4 car jumping out of line. And I wouldn't be doing this if I was Casey Shue. I'd be staying in line and being very polite about it too. I think he's going to move out. I think he wants to pick up somebody else.
I think he's the one pushing Riley Thompson. I think they're trying to keep pace while not blowing each other's engines up. So it's going to be Thomas Bresci who's laps down. He has nothing to care for here, just trying to push Riley Thompson now. So that's probably going to be how they're going to be switching each other right now.
That time by, though, they were way slower. They were actually slower than the race leaders. And that, like I said, if you can keep that pace up without getting hot, that's the ideal way to do it. It's just so hard to do without overheating those motors.
I think it's already over. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think, unless this lead pack gets really stacked up with maybe a mini wreck, I don't know if they're going to get there. I think it might be too little too late. It's going to be Rich Jets to lose. He's got friends possibly behind him, but we know that 74 still trying to get that top lane going, trying to make it work.
I think the other pack would have been way better single filed. I'm surprised they went double. They have to know that that was their advantage, was being single file. Now the front runners have done that, so they've essentially eliminated themselves from this competition here with just under 10 laps to go as we come across the line here at Talladega. Riley Thompson leads that second pack, and they are not organized like they were a lap or two ago.
50.7s for that lead pack. They're going to be nowhere close to that time. 51.2s. I think it's already too little too late. They're going to have to hope for a wreck somewhere, hopefully in that front pack and not their pack, to get back up there. I think it's down to these 7 at this point.
Yeah, they're going to have to hope for a caution in a green-white checkered, which remember, we only have 3 of this time, not unlimited as we had in the past. So the 77 and 2 car pushing towards the front. Where the 74 car, though, he dropped to the back of this 2962. Not exactly sure why. He's been in command so long tonight. I'm surprised that he's dropped back and is sort of taking an offensive role here for the end of the race.
Maybe trying to keep his Tebs cool for that last push at the very end, as he's got a very good push with Wilco to the back bumper of RJ Root. Root's going to get all the way side by side for 3rd place. Going to have a run out of the tri-oval. He's going to get all the way 2nd place. Filarski goes for the block. RJ's going to try to split him 3 wide. Filarski's able to get back down to that bottom lane. RJ Root's going to go for the race lead now.
RJ Root in command as they come through turns 1 and 2. He has not led any laps yet today, and he's pulling even with the 77. Rich Jet has only led 5. They were the most recent 5 laps that you've been watching. And a bit of a scattering here in the background, a big mistake by somebody. They've all scattered, and now they're going to get lined back up. But again, as you mentioned, too little too late.
No, what happened, they were going by the lap car of Christopher Matthews, and Matthews couldn't pick a lane, so that really screwed all of their runs up, so they're going to probably lose even more time this lap.
So now you can pretty much narrow it down to one of these front 9 drivers. Everybody from Rich Jet back to Michael Stroll. I think anybody in this pack has a chance. I think the 74... his dropping back concerns me because that means that he's plotting something. He wouldn't just do that just to do it. I think there's a plan, and the 74 is about to execute it, and everybody else better be ready for it.
But he's going to need someone to go with him. If he doesn't have someone pushing him by the 62 or the 29, he's going to have no chance. I don't know. He's only got a few cars behind him. Michael Stroll is actually almost close to losing this lead pack. I don't know if he has too much damage, but I don't know. We'll have to see here. I think RJ Root and Rich Jet are the ones in control.
Coming back to 5 to go, 77, 2, 88.00 on the bottom, then on the high side, 29, 62, 74, 02. Michael Stroll at the very tail end of that, like you said, though, not able to keep up with this front 8.
RJ's got a really good push. The inside line kind of breaking apart in turns 3 and 4. RJ's probably going to get clear at a 4 here with the help from Wilco here. Is he going to drop all the way down? Not quite yet. Wilco's looking to the third lane yet again. Then Delicado's going to help him as RJ goes to the way bottom.
RJ Root to the bottom of the racetrack. 5 laps to go from Talladega Superspeedway in the 10th round of the 2020 Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series season. And Delicado goes to the right. Not quite right enough to get to the outside of the 29, or excuse me, the 62.
Oh, he's on his left rear. Got to be careful of that. Wilco kind of squirrely getting that push from Delicado way up the track.
Gonna go to the middle.
Delicado looking to the middle.
Woo, that almost didn't work. That was tight.
That's definitely what I think RJ Root wants to see, that 62 lead in that top lane with how squirrely he is. The 74 is really not going to be able to push him close to side by side with Root here, so he might really only have to worry about Rich Jet unless the 74 can get by that 62.
4 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Less than 10 miles worth of racing. When we get back again, 29 leads this race. Rich Jet going to go middle. The 62 is going to take him high, 3 wide. Caution.
Buchanan, Casey Shu wrecking in the back. Christian Gritzko with some big damage. They wrecked in the second pack, and there goes all of that.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll have ourselves a green-white checkered. We will go extended distance here tonight. And what happened back here?
I'm not sure. I saw a car sideways. Gritzko's got the biggest damage out of that, I believe.
Was it at the front of this pack? Or?
Let's see, Buchanan and Gritzko were involved.
Yep.
Oh, Buchanan kind of slipped up, and Gritzko couldn't lift in time. David Mott Jr. got some damage. Casey Shu, I don't know how much damage he got.
Right here, here's a look. The 91 just a little bit off-centered, and the 40 is going to just check up and move up, and that's where they're going to get together.
Oh, yeah, Shu definitely got damage. Chambliss did a good job avoiding it. Oh, Chad Simpson, not sure how much damage he got.
So you know who just breathed a huge sigh of relief? Is everybody that was forward of that crash in that second pack. And I'm talking about guys like Riley Thompson, Colin Fambro, Casey Lakatos. Everybody just breathed a sigh of relief because they're far back, Connor. But it is not impossible to go from 10th to 1st on a restart. We've seen it before. We've seen a guy from 13th out of turn 4 come to the checkered and win this race. We've seen a driver finish 3rd backwards here before. So I don't think there's a lot that's not possible here in the last couple laps of this race.
I think I don't know if you're talking about iRacing in real life, because I know Almirola got 3rd in real life at Daytona in the spring. That was
I think it was a fuel race. We had a car finish. It was either fuel or ORL. We had a car finish backwards and finish 3rd. Pretty sure it was a fuel race. And we've had cars finish upside down inside the top 10 before. We've had cars finish upside down and finish 2nd. I think all the way back to, I think it was Eli Hinton
I think he won the race.
VRL.
No, I think he won the race.
Oh, maybe he did. I think he was on his door when he won.
He was going flipping. I was when I blew. I think I went below a yellow line.
Yeah, you pissed everybody off, and that was a wild finish.
That's when it's basically my rule now.
The Connor Horn
They
rule.
wasn't explained before, so I figured. I remember saying that in the interview. I was like, hey, they never explained it, so I did it.
Well, a lot of rules. It's like rules in aviation. They're written in blood. They're not going to get written until someone does it.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, obviously no pit stops. At least I wouldn't do it unless I was crazy. So, what's the strategy here?
I say it usually every time at these Daytona races. If you're not in those front 2 rows, unless there is some sort of wreck, it's going to be hard to win. RJ Root, Rich Jet, John Wilco, Calvin Filarski, they're the ones that are really in control right here. It's going to be really hard to get a 3rd lane formed up. You're going to see a lot of jogging for position. I don't know. It's going to come down to a wreck, but those 4 at the front are in control to start.
How about 32 lead changes? That's a lead change almost once every 2 laps. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's very wide. We saw it earlier in the race. All the blocking, all the lane changing that was going on early in the race definitely contributed to all that.
Will Roberts fact-checking here. The car finishing backwards was Liam Sheen. 2nd, 0.010 behind Jeff Ward. Backwards.
Of course, backwards. But not upside down and on fire. But...
Well, that's not quite as cool, but I'll take backwards at 170 any day for style points.
Well, for the guys watching upside down and on fire, it might be cooler. Just definitely not fun for the driver when that happens. The only time that's ever happened in my eyes is Clint Boyer, but he definitely wasn't having fun.
No, he was not. RJ Root leads this race, and he has led 1 lap today. And looking at the season for RJ Root so far, trying to check out, see where he is. In the
he's ran every race. He's not really far up the order as he'd want. He's had a lot of bad luck, I believe. Trying to see where he is. 28th in the standings. Like I said, he's ran every race, but has not had the finishes to show for it. Not even a single top 10 yet, so that could change drastically right now.
Certainly could. With a win, that would put him in a pretty cool spot as well to hold a trophy up here midway through the season. So, and actually looking at our season, I want to say midway, but it's really not. We have Road America, then Atlanta, Lucas Oil Raceway Park, Michigan, Bristol, and Texas, and that's where we wrap up the season. So we're 10 rounds into 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 races. So we're getting down to the very end of this thing here, and well, if you're RJ Root and you want to get a checkered flag, this is a pretty good place to do it.
Definitely want to be one of the bigger wins for him on the sim. I think he's fairly new to the sim, so this would be really huge to get a win in such a stacked league like Fuel. It would be really satisfying, especially have all the troubles he's had all season, all 9 races, no top 10s. He would definitely be very relieved to get one here today.
So doubling back up, RJ Root will choose the bottom, then on the outside will be Rich Jet. In the number 77, then John Wilco, Filarski, Nick Indelicato, Dulger, Halaba, Runkle Jr., Michael Stroll, Colin Fambro, the top 10. Pick a driver who wins this race.
It's really hard to pick. I think it's going to be really hard to beat the 29, but I know Indelicato's still lurking back there. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this happens though, but I think Rich Jet is going to be really tough to beat. I think Filarski's one of the better pushers tonight. I think he's going to get him to the lead.
All right, so doubled up on the back straightaway, and this is where if you're a driver, your heart rate picks up just a little bit, and your focus becomes immense here. And this is where, Connor, do you get nervous at these ends of these races like this?
It doesn't matter how many times you race in one of these. If you're at the front with a chance to win at a track like Talladega or Daytona, your heart races. RJ Root's probably going insane right now. He probably, especially after him and Halaba were pretty much beached 2-car tandem out of that lead pack, he probably can't believe that he was able to get back up there, him and Halaba. He probably even can't believe even more that he's leading the race on a green-white checkered. He is going nuts right now. He's just got to keep his cool for 2 more laps, though.
We'll see if he can do it. John Wilco, look at him in 3rd place. This is a really good run for John Wilco. Calvin Filarski having the run of the season for him as well. Nick Indelicato up inside the top 5.
Tyler Dulger as well. You never really see him at the front of these. This would be a huge run for him. Matt Halaba, Don Rocco Jr., Michael Stroll. He's actually 3rd in the points, so with the 83 and 24 having troubles, he might be able to gain some points to get closer into that battle for the front. He's 71 points out, looking like he's going to close in on it today.
Remember that we got a couple wild cards to deal with, and 77, 2, 29, and 62 are in that position. So think about playoff picture as we come to the start-finish line. This will be 2 laps to go. We'll get 2 more attempts at a green-white checkered should there be a caution. I'd put pretty good money that we will likely see one of those in the next couple laps. Here we come. Lap number 76 to 77, a lap longer than our scheduled distance. In command, the 29, the pink and black Camaro, RJ Root, green flag, back in the air, 2 laps to go from Talladega.
I think RJ might have already messed this one up for him. That's way too big of a lead to have on one of these restarts. Not only is the 62 going to have to run, but also the 77 on the top, although that top lane not looking pretty formed up. But the Indelicato all over the back bumper of John Wilco.
Matt Halaba going to see a hole open on the bottom here. We'll see if he goes to it. Look at the 62 of Wilco getting a huge run on the back straightaway. He's going to go to the lead on the back straightaway here with Nick Indelicato behind him in the 74. He's going to look driver's right. Rich Jet's coming with a big head of steam. The 74 goes to driver's right. 77 to the left, and they come to turn number 3.
I can't believe Rich Jet didn't go with Indelicato, but I think he really wants Wilco to maybe get one here. It's Filarski who's going to go with the 74 here, as RJ Root lost all that time, almost out of a top 5 because he went way too early in the restart. Now Halaba drops to the bottom here as Indelicato's got the run.
If we get back to the white, we'll have 1 lap to go. If we get a caution between here and the stripe, we'll do it all over again. White flag waving now. Can we get back to the stripe before a caution? Yes, we will. Last lap from Talladega, 2.6 miles, and we'll declare a winner. Indelicato leads the way, chops down in front of the 62 in turn 1.
Very aggressive move, but it's going to work out for him. Wilco's going to be clear.
Oh, they crashed behind him.
Tyler Dulger is around. Buchanan as well, Mitch Welker and others, doesn't matter. The race is for the lead, and Indelicato. Wilco goes to the top, and Indelicato tries to block.
Oh, they're concerned! And they spin, and Halaba's through. Rich Jet is through as well. They go to the front.
Rich Jet's got the lead. It's down to these 2. Everyone wrecks in the back. Chambliss is in the 3rd, but it doesn't matter. It's Rich Jet and Matt Halaba for the win. Halaba's going to have to time the switch. He goes high, back low. Rich Jet.
Oh, he turns him. Well. And Matt Halaba, all on his own, is going to lead this race, but here comes Don Runkle Jr. with a huge run. Can he get back to the stripe? He was 13th at the line. A huge run coming, but not enough. Rich Jet is, wait, what?
It's Matt Halaba who's going to take the checkered flag over Don Runkle.
Oh, I'm so confused. Matt Halaba wins the race. What happened?
What happened is aggressive driving. Every single bit of clean racing went out the window at the very end there. First it was Delicado who got turned for blocking. Then it was the 77 Rich Jet who cut down on this 0-2 Matt Holliba in turn 4, and it was Holliba all out on his own to get the race win.
Oh my, I was so confused what was happening. Our timing screen only updates once at the line every time as soon as the official checkered flag had fallen at lap number 76. So Runkle Jr. finishes career best second. Matt Holliba wins the race. I don't even believe what we just saw.
That was so chaotic, way more chaotic than the beginning of the race, and it all started at a turn number 2 when the move for the win started off. They actually it started in turns 1 and 2 when they wrecked in the back. We have way too much to unpack here, but ironically, it's the IndyCar paint scheme getting to win, and I believe he probably only led 1 lap as well.
Taking a look at Matt Holliba, 1 lap led. How about that?
That's amazing. I can't believe he got through all that. Very fortunate, but also good job getting to the front when it mattered most.
Brent Jones in 3rd. How about that run for the 09? Don Runkle 2nd.
What
a drive.
Huge drive for him. Brent Jones, Michael Stroll, good points for him in 4th. Brian Chambliss got all the way up to 5th. Chad Simpson, Daytona winner, he finished 7th. As I think Shane Tarrant all the way back in 20th. So both of the guys top 2 in the points going to lose a lot. Big day for Michael Stroll in 4th.
Wow. Matt Holliba wins for the first time in the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Let's go back. We got a lot to cover here in the last couple laps of this one.
At least 3 wrecks to unpack here.
I mean, I don't even know where you start with this. I mean, how...
Let's go to the 88 in turn 1. That's where the first wreck started.
Yeah, going all the way back. So there's the 88, and we'll pick it up full speed here. Tyler Dulger ends up 26th at the stripe. Here's the first crash.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. He had a really good run. Didn't get the restart he wanted. In front of Runkle. Running a bit high. Runkle's going to his outside. He tries to block Runkle. Bit of neck coach.
Yeah, I think there was someone that disappeared behind him that tipped that whole thing off.
Jason Brophy blinked there.
Oh, Finney DeCuna got a big hit. And then here, let's go back and look at the Shane Tarrant incident here. Points leader ends up 20th. His saving grace is at the 24. Also had a bad night. This was all just that same wreck still happening.
Yep.
And then there was another crash here.
On the backstretch for the lead. It was in Delicado trying to go to the outside of Wilco, I believe. Wilco, he had the run, he had the push, went to the outside. Rich Jet went with him. Delicado, sort of the same thing he did earlier. Second guess that move to the outside, that second swerve. He didn't get away with it that time.
No, that was just, he just came over, kept coming. I feel for John Wilco. Had the nose there, and the 74 just kept coming over. And then Rich Jet gets through. And, I mean, this is where my disbelief starts setting in. We've wrecked the entire field, then we get to turn 3, and watch this. Leaves the half a lane open. The 02 is going to see that. He's going to dive down to the bottom. The 77 is going to chase him. 02 gets the nose, and I think that's on Rich Jet. I think he just kept pulling down.
Yeah, I understand what he's trying to do. Holliba's obviously trying to get the run out of a turn, but he see that much bottom, he's obviously going to go for it, and you're way too late on the block low. Pretty much turns himself. Obviously, Holliba could have lifted, but obviously
look at Runkle. Oh! That was Mike Hurley getting in there. He finished 10th after all that. And then Runkle had a big head of steam, but just not enough to catch Matt Holliba. Let's just go on board with Holliba here for a lap and just see what he saw, because it was a pretty wild ride watching from, I think he was 4th or 5th here.
He stays on the bottom. He sees it happening. He's already on the bottom. He actually got hit right there by, I think that was Wilco coming down track. He got right reared. Very fortunate to not get involved in that. Could have been Rich Jet's race all by himself, but he's going to see Jet start sliding up here, trying to get the run out of 4, but he sees the bottom open, goes for it. Just too late for Jet, turns himself around, and Holliba, a good job saving the car from that contact as well. It was too little too late for anyone else to chase him back down.
I just want to go back and watch out the mirror of the 02. We're riding on board with Holliba now. This is in turn 1.
It's right behind him, too. Here's the 88. Riley Thompson there, he got through. I don't think he got through the next one, though.
Right here, here's the backstretch crash.
Oh, this is going to be close. Watch this. Oh, he almost got turned there.
Oh, Thompson just... Oh, wow. Someone got turned up and over. Is that in Delicado?
I'm not sure. That might have been. He was on the outside line, though. I don't know who we're riding on. This isn't...
Oh, this is Fambro, actually.
Fambro.
Yeah, let's go back a little farther. Holliba again.
You're going to see him barely get... He's going to get hit, but he's able to save it right there.
Oh, it's Lakatos, I think, that went for... Oh, yeah, there it is. Lakatos that went for the tumble.
Yep. That was a big one. A lot of people, I think, went up and over. I don't think it was just him.
Yeah, here's a look.
He had a good run. Look at Holliba barely get clipped. And
this is going to hurt. Going to back it into the safer barrier, and wow, just wallops it.
Yeah, kind of ramps him up as well. That sets him up to go up and over. Rolls at least once here, back on the wheels.
Wow. Oh, man, what a mess. Talladega, it never disappoints. Here's a look at the race results. I think that was probably the craziest race I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of crazy races at Talladega. That one takes the cake by far. I think we wrecked literally every driver with the exception of, I think actually every single car on that lap got some sort of damage at some point, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So there's your results. Take it in and deep breath. We'll show it to you more when we come back from our break. We're going to take a quick one, be back with our race winner and our top 3 here. Some of these you guys you've never heard from before on Sim TV. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back live to Sim TV. We're here now with Don Runkle Jr. in the Mission 22 car, second place tonight in the Ford Mustang. And Don, this is a career finish for you. This has been an exceptional end, but tell me about the last 10 laps and how chaotic it was from your perspective. You had a big run coming, and had you had more straightaway, you might have gotten to Matt Hollaba. Just take me through the restart, the chaos, and driving through it all.
Well, man, we were just trying to, the teammates here at PMS, we were just trying to get all hooked up together. Calvin, me, and Tyler were just trying to get hooked up, get to the high line, maybe get a run going. But we had a bad start there, and then I saw that chaos, and, hey, it's Talladega last lap. You don't really lift unless you need to, so I just kind of got cleared through that. And, man, I was really hoping I would have enough momentum to get up to Matt, but I wasn't able to quite get up there after all that chaos. But, congratulations to Matt for the win. And, hey, man, I'll take a second place all day. That was a great finish.
Well, second place, certainly a strong race for you. We had 34 lead changes in that race, certainly competitive. Well, next week, we're actually going to head to a racetrack that a lot of drivers might dread. That's Road America. That's actually 2 weeks from now in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Your thoughts on the road course up there in Elkhart Lake and your chances at maybe pulling home a victory or a top 5 there?
And I actually like road courses. I like wheeling these heavy stock cars around road courses. We'll see what we can do. I'm not necessarily known for my road course skills, but we'll see what we can do there. But hey, while I get a chance, I want to thank all my teammates tonight at PMS Racing. Calvin, Tyler, Travis, Chris, Kevin, all you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Nick Cohan, I want to thank him too. He gave me some pointers tonight. So thanks a lot, guys, man. Fuel, you guys for putting this on. And Mission22.com, go check out Mission 22, guys. Help some vets out. Donate to Mission 22. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks,
Don, and appreciate your support of the series. We'll see you next time. Moving on now to Brent Jones, who finished third in tonight's race in the number 09. I don't know what you got on the hood of that car, Brent, but I know what you got in that car. That was a whole lot of confidence there at the end when you drove through the field to finish third. Take me through the last couple laps in that restart.
I just go back and watch everything Barry Sanders did in the 90s with the Detroit Lions. Like, that was my childhood hero right there. And you're all supposed to be interviewing with someone more talent, I would think.
Well, every time we come to Talladega, we're used to seeing pretty crazy and chaotic finishes. I think this one takes the cake for the most crazy, the most chaotic one I think I've ever watched. I think every single car there got some sort of damage there on that white flag lap. So to what extent is a white flag here at Talladega with this many cars left? To what extent is it just hold the throttle down and just carve your way through it? And to what extent are you trying to actively avoid collisions?
Fine balance, but it's mostly just not lifting for anything at that point. If you avoid it, you avoid it. No, you tried.
Well, I'd say you did a pretty good job tonight, Brent. Hey, congratulations on a solid top 5 run. 3rd place. We go to Road America in 2 weeks. What do you think about heading to the road course in Wisconsin?
Hopefully we get that night off from work. You know, I'm taking this week by week right now. This is only the 2nd race this year because of work scheduling issues. So if we show up there, I know we won't be obviously as good as here tonight, but we'll give it our all.
All right, Brent, thanks for jumping in with us, and we'll talk to you at Road America. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Moving on now to our race winner, Matt Holliba, in the ironically sponsored IndyCar Chevrolet Camaro tonight. Matt, you had a pretty strong run. You were up front for most of the night, but to bring it home at the checkered, wow, what a race, what a drive. Take me through the last couple laps in your drive to the front.
Oh yeah, that green-white checkered. Well, before that, RJ and I, RJ Roots, I believe he's the 29 car. We opted to do an earlier stop because I wasn't particularly comfortable with how active that pack was up front. So we took the earlier stop, and then we worked our way back up front, and then the yellow came out, and then we had that green-white checkered, and I have no idea how in the world I survived that big wreck on the backstretch on lap 77. Then from there, I just was trying to follow the 77, try and figure out a way to get by him. He made the move high in turn 3. I kind of went to follow, then I moved low, and then he tried coming down, but he wasn't quite clear, and I wasn't going below the yellow line, so I essentially did what Brad Keselowski did to Carl Edwards at Talladega, coincidentally. It's the last lap at Talladega. I feel bad for the dude, but I wasn't about to lift. Like, again, Rich, if you're listening, again, I'm so sorry about that. You deserved a much better result than that. But again, it's Talladega. I'm not lifting. I'm not going to apologize for my move.
Well, it was certainly a really good move, and you ended up winning the race. We head to Road America in 2 weeks, the 14-turn road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. You come from kind of an IndyCar background. Well, is that going to be an advantage for you heading to the road course in 2 weeks?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm a part-time driver. I'm only, after, I believe it was Kentucky a few rounds ago, I kind of decided I'm just going to do the super speedways for the rest of the season. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be my last start of the season, unless for some reason, it is 2020, so you never know what the heck's going to happen. But yeah.
Well, I can tell you're going to go out with a bang if you end your season here, Matt. Thanks for talking to us. Congratulations. Celebrate, and maybe we'll see you back again.
Cool. Thanks, Kyle. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, Connor, that's going to end things out tonight. We'll show you your race results one more time, and I'll tell you what I'm doing this weekend because it's not sim racing broadcasting. We'll go over that here in a minute, but Connor, your final thoughts here on Talladega.
Like you said, you're probably not going to see a crazier Daytona race than that. It had it from start to finish. We had the big one, 2 big ones early, a lot of contenders taken out of that, a lot of side-by-side tight-knit racing, and at the very end, pretty much all hell broke loose, but there was just that those 2 drivers got out ahead of the rest of the pack. It was Matt Holliba. Very fortunate win, but he definitely deserved it after weaving through all of those crashes. So good job to him. You're really never going to see a crazier race than that. That was insane.
Certainly was insane, and with that, we're going to end the broadcast here. But before we go, this weekend is a pretty special weekend for myself, and I want to thank everybody again for helping me get to this point. But tomorrow morning, I am departing my hometown of Rochester, New York, and driving 8.5 hours to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And this weekend, on Sunday afternoon, I will be announcing an alternate stream for GT World Challenge America's Indy 8-hour event. So I will be there commentating with CrowdStrike Racing's touring car drivers. We're basically taking the live stream feed that you would see on the GT World YouTube channel, and we're re-commentating that, and that will be available live for the entire 8-hour event on Sunday afternoon for CrowdStrike Racing's YouTube channel. So make sure you tune into that. Additionally, on Friday and Saturday, I will be at Gingerman Raceway in South Haven, Michigan, calling Grid Life Touring Cup and Grid Life Live action. So that will be drifting, time attack, and wheel-to-wheel racing at Gingerman Raceway for the Grid Life Midwest Festival Friday and Saturday. That can be found on the Grid Life YouTube channel. Make sure that you're tuned into both our Discord and our Facebook page at facebook.com/SimTV Broadcasting to be caught up with everything I'm doing in the real world, all thanks to everybody that watches SimTV. So with that, we're going to end things tonight, and we'll see you this weekend, Friday, Saturday at Gingerman Raceway at Grid Life's YouTube channel, and Sunday for GT World Challenge America on CrowdStrike Racing's YouTube channel. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching SimTV.